Hello and a very warm welcome to Evolving Consciousness. If you are visiting this channel for the first time, this channel talks about a range of spectrum of topics, right from personal development, right from evolving your consciousness, developing yourself into a better version so that you not only become an asset for yourself but for those around you. Because let's remember, human life is absolutely precious. And once we endeavor to become a better version of ourselves, we are not only being an asset to ourselves and those around us, we are creating a global impact. Yes, you heard that right. It might sound a little bit unconventional and sort of orthodox or unorthodox to say, right? That how can a person's life, how can a particular person who's trying to improve himself contribute to the masses, contribute to the global, how can he impact the world? But he certainly can. I gathered this idea from this beautiful book called The Leader Who Had No Title by Robin Sharma. He says that it doesn't matter whether you're a street sweeper, a bathroom janitor, a cab driver, you might be from any walk of life. But if you commit to excellence in every dimension of your life, you're being a leader. You're being a leader without a title, and leadership has less to do with titles and more to do with the way you operate, your consciousness through which you act, the consciousness through which you view things. So, if you have been visiting this channel for the very first time, if you love this genre of content and like to explore this kind of content, please do like, share, and subscribe this video as well as subscribe to this channel, and do like, share, and subscribe this kind of content with your fellow human beings. And coming to the focus topic of this video I thought about addressing difficulties, right? Now this is something which no human is alien from. Everybody in this planet, which I call the Earth School, in some point in their life, in some point of their life, has to go through suffering, has to go through difficulties. Now, what is more important about these difficulties? Either it can make you or it can break you. Now, the difference between the extraordinary, the difference between the legends and the mediocrity is legends see adversity as an opportunity, whereas the mediocre breaks down when they see difficulties. Now, I know it's very easier said than done, but this is what makes us humans, right? This is what distinguishes from other creatures in this planet. This consciousness, this intellect to always try to understand, to try to differentiate between the different frames of mind, the different approaches. That's what makes us human. Animals can't choose between options. They cannot have perspectives, but human beings can. So why not utilize this advantage of being a human? Why not why not understand from deep within that we need not be a superhuman to have a phenomenal life. We just need to realize that being human is in itself a super possibility. Now, coming to this topic about difficulties, right? There are a few things which I would take from this beautiful book. It's called The Everyday Hero Manifesto by Robin Sharma. And Robin Sharma is someone who's been very close to my heart over my growing years. He's a person who his main focus is all about leadership, personal growth and development. And the content, if you go through any of his books and read through any of his mind-blowing books, right? The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari, the international bestseller, that was what gave him international fame. One thing you'll realize about this person is every line of his book has so much of inspiration. It motivates you from deep within. Motivation is an understatement. It's not the best word to express what you go through when you completely digest the contents of his book. And the most amazing part of his books are they're thoroughly practical. They're absolutely pragmatic. Now, coming to the content of this particular video, this is basically from a chapter in this Everyday Hero Manifesto. and he talks about overcoming difficulties and transcending suffering. We are going to split this particular topic into two videos because there are in total 9 beliefs which Robin Sharma recommends us to install brain tattoo in our neurological system to such a point that it reaches automaticity, right? Because if you realize we human beings are a product of habits, good habits, bad habits, we always run through subconscious programs of our habits. People who are conscious of it, people who are on the path of evolving themselves, they become conscious of their not so good habits and they try to work on them and they try to unwind those negative habits and convert them into more productive, more positive habits. And then habits are born out of beliefs. What are the beliefs you perceive? What are the beliefs you have sort of made a part of your system? And today there was a beautiful post which I read in Instagram. It says that most of us think that thoughts manifest reality, right? The author told something which got me thinking. She said thoughts don't manifest reality, beliefs manifest reality. And I found it so unraveling and so enlightening, that particular aspect. You might think good, but what is the subconscious belief you have about something? That is what manifests your reality, right? Now coming back to this topic, I know it was a bit of a tangent from the main focus of the topic. He talks about 9 core beliefs which can be rehearsed mentally until it reaches the point of automaticity, right? Okay, so belief number 1, it says, this too shall pass. Now, this is not something which is philosophical, right? Because if you realize something, if you, in whatever point of life you are in, you might be in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, you might observe something very peculiar about life. Nothing lasts permanently. There's always this quality of impermanence, whether that has had got to do with happiness, whether that's got to do with suffering. And this is so soothing to the soul, because once you realize this fact, once you are able to acknowledge that everything in this life is impermanent, you start obsessing about the tragedies of your life. You know that today you're feeling bad, tomorrow you might start feeling good. And that even with that particular acknowledgement, right, you build this wisdom within you that even happiness is not going to last for long. So let's not cling to it, let's not obsess to it. There is this amazing sense of emotional maturity which becomes a part of your mental canopy, that you start seeing things through a different vision. And he says that this is not a philosophical thought, right? This is a fact which gives us a practical belief or a hope which is built based on the foundation of reality and not a forced positive belief. Because once you start to acknowledge this fact, and this was also told by Gautama the Buddha, right? He said that impermanence is such a powerful thing, but most of us consider impermanence as a negative connotation. But they don't understand when they talk about impermanence, it is not only got to do with the good things, it's also got to do with the bad things. And that's what makes the polarities balanced, right? And I'm reminded of a thing from the Bhagavad Gita when Lord Shri Krishna says, Dukhalya Ashashvatam. That means this material world is filled with mysteries. Now, when people hear this shloka, they fill their minds with a lot of pessimism. They might even go to the extent to criticize this shloka, say that this shloka smells pessimism. But essentially, that's not pessimistic. That's a realistic way of looking at life. Right? That's not pessimistic. It's a realistic way of looking at life. That was belief number 1. Belief number 2. He says that every seemingly terrible situation inevitably ends well. Now, he gives a quote by Arthur Schofenhauer. He says that life must be lived in foresight, but yet can only be understood in hindsight. Meaning, let's say we are traveling around the road in a car, right? Let's say we are traveling in a car. Now, we can live our life in foresight, but can only be understood in hindsight. In the sense, wherever you are in the journey of life, if you look back and see the experiences of your life, you will realize something beautiful. Something very beautiful will dawn in your realization. that whatever experiences happened in your life, they were happening for a reason, for to make you a better version of yourself. You will begin to realize that why things happened the way they happened. What was the lessons hidden in it for me? And you'll start viewing the seeming tragedies as beautiful opportunities for the growth of your own soul. And this is something very beautiful. And he also says this, that in the end, everything is okay, right? And if it's not okay, that means the end has not yet come. Coming to belief number 3, he says that it helps you grow. If it helps you grow, it's not a problem but a reward. And he says that what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Now, this particular belief, this particular thought, when you think about it, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. This whole paradigm, there's a paradigm shift in the way you look at situations and adversities. Because now you see adversities and challenges as vehicles of growth, as vehicles of expression of your true potential. Now you don't get drained out when you see problems. You see, this situation demands a creative way of handling these situations. What would be a more mature way of facing these situations? How is this situation serving me in terms of me pushing my own comfort zone and trying to understand this particular situation from my own perspective? Obviously, it's not an easy task to do that, but that's what makes greatness different from mediocrity. Now, this is belief number 3. Now, coming to belief number 4, he says that adversity shows up to test how much we desire our dreams. In life, we are always subjected to a lot of tests, right? Lot of turbulations, lot of curveballs come. Lot of curveballs we need to face in our life. But how we show up to those curveballs, that decides whether this particular challenge will serve me or will this challenge destroy me completely. That particular attitude, that particular thought process decides everything. When life seems tough, you wonder why. Please remember, teacher is always quiet during the test. So we need to be absolutely mindful of the fact that adversities will test our commitments towards our desires, towards our dreams. There have been a lot of stories of how legends had to go through a lot of difficulties in their life. I'm reminded of Viktor Frankl, the famous author of this book called A Man's Search for Meaning. So Viktor Frankl was a person who lived most of his life in a concentration chamber, in a jail, where he was subjected to the most gruesome physical and mental torture. As you probably would be knowing, concentration chambers was one of the worst forms of torture which the Nazis had subjected to Jews to. Viktor Frankl, he had two options, right? Like every other person, Viktor Frankl chose to think differently. He didn't become a victim, but he said that this particular experience of my life, I am going to give meaning to that. He said that when you have a meaning for your life, all suffering, all pain diminishes. Because now your focus is completely anchored towards that meaning. You're so powerfully anchored in that meaning of your life that these kind of winds, these tough times, the winds of the tough times are not able to move you from where you are anchored. The anchor is so strong. And these kind of people really give us a lot of inspiration, because these people have lived through the worst of circumstances and they have come out from it with flying colors. And belief number 5, chaos carries opportunities. A beautiful quote by Napoleon Hill. He says that every adversity, even failure, even heartache, carries with it the seed of a greater benefit. When things get super hard, I encourage you to default into an opportunity seeker. Ask yourself how you can bounce back from it, set back to reveal peak of your powers, turn calamity into victory, and rework the apparent failure into an even better life than you previously enjoyed. So this is what the message of these things is. As they say, As the going gets tough, the tough gets going, right? And turbulent times are the most powerful transformational times when a person can ever experience. If you are not having turbulence in your life, that means your life is very boring and you're living a very mediocre life. If you are having challenges, if you are having a pinch of difficulty in day to day circumstances, that means your soul is being given opportunities to grow in every dimension. Hope this message serves you. We'll make a part 2 of this video where I'll cover more 5 of the beliefs which is mentioned in this phenomenal book, Everyday Hero Manifesto by Robin Sharma. I'll highly recommend reading this book. And this is a book which we need to keep going back and revisit the concepts, so that again we can, at the various stages of our life, it serves us, right? So meet you in the next video. Hope this video was of value to you. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe the video. Thank you. Bye.